Before we get into your spread today, allow me to vaguely provide you with some background information as to what it means when a planet is retrograde. Generally speaking, when a planet is retrograde, it means that the planet is orbiting much slower than usual and, from our perspective, appears to be traveling backwards. The best example that can further explain this is, say for instance you are traveling on the freeway. Your car and the vehicle in the lane beside you are traveling at the exact same speed. Then you decide to slightly increase your speed. It will then appear to you as though the vehicle next to you was moving backwards. The vehicle is not actually moving backwards, it simply appears that it is from your current perspective. So, in essence, Pluto is basically orbiting at a much slower speed or pace than usual. So Pluto retrograde in general entails that we may have difficulty transforming our lives due to fear of letting go. You will probably have difficulty expressing your personal power and influence. A fear of being controlled or of taking control can stem from past life and or childhood experiences involving abuse of power or being overly controlled. The severity as to how this will affect you will be shown through aspects to your Pluto in your natal chart. Regardless if your natal Pluto is retrograde or not, you will experience some of Pluto's energy. Your particular experience may not be felt as strongly as others. But this particular Pluto retrograde in April of 2017 starts on April 20th, 19 degrees in Capricorn, and ends on September 28th, 16 degrees in Capricorn, which brings opportunities for progress, but a number of big obstacles will have to be overcome to get there. An internal investigation is needed to root out a barrier to progress and eliminate it. Jupiter, also retrograde, adds one more degree of difficulty. Some destructive energy is hindering a necessary Plutonic transformation. This particular involvement of Jupiter suggests that this problem relates to greed, excess, faith, or ideology. What makes this particular Pluto retrograde much different is that Pluto will be aspected by Jupiter, which is also currently retrograde, by what is known as a square. An astrological square differs from an opposition, inasmuch as an opposition entails that two planets are not in harmony with each other, while a square entails tension. Given Jupiter square Pluto makes you want to succeed, and succeed big time. Success, power, and influence are all possible, but without some care, there could be ruthless determination, greed, corruption, obsessive and compulsive behavior, excessive pride, and overestimating resources. These are some of the themes that this Pluto retrograde could manifest within social groups and or social situations. On a lighter note, Jupiter retrograde in itself can promise achieved growth and happiness in a particular area of life that is important to you now. Whatever your hopes for the future may be, this year's Jupiter retrograde is an opportunity to make great leaps and bounds toward living out your dreams. However, with Jupiter retrograde square Pluto retrograde, if your goals are unrealistic, deceitful, or greedy, then disappointment and loss will more than likely follow. Okay guys, with that background information, let's go and get started on your spread. Hey, what's up Taurus? And here's your reading for the Pluto retrograde. I already pre-shuffled the cards, so let's just get it started. Guardian angels of love and light, ancestors lost and known in the seas of time, please intercede into this reading to provide Taurus with the clarity and understanding as to which he or she seeks, and please grant me, the reader, the objectivity to read the cards and relay the messages as they are meant to be. The Spirit, release the first card for Taurus for permeation. The Ace of Cups. Spirit, release the second card for Taurus for proposal. The Father of Cups in reverse. Spirit, please release the third card for propriety for Taurus for the Pluto retrograde. No. Spirit, please release the third card The Taurus for propriety. The Devil card. Okay, Spirit, please release the fourth card for Taurus for perception. Perception for Taurus, Spirit. Please release the fourth card. Taurus, what's going on? Maybe they're searching for... There we go. The Ten of Pentacles. Spirit, please release the fifth card for Taurus for purgation. The High Priestess. Spirit, please release Taurus' sixth card for pursuance. All right. The Star card. Spirit, please release Taurus' seventh card for purpose. So, Taurus, I forgot to ask you while we're shuffling. If you guys if your Mercury is in Taurus, please tell me how you're doing, because I know it's affecting me, and I'm Virgo. That's at least my sun sign. Let me know. The Two of Cups in reverse. So Taurus, for your first card, for the messages attempting to reach your intuition, the Ace of Cups. So the feeling I'm getting is just new everything. Starting fresh, starting new, starting from just the ground up, in a sense, not in a bad way, in a good way. Starting new projects, maybe accomplishing or setting new goals. And also, I'm starting to maybe pick up new love as well. Just a little bit of it. Just generally, it's going to be just that new, in a sense. So for your second card, you guys got the Father of Cups for the areas in your life that you need to reflect on. Taurus, I feel that we need to be open to new perspectives. Because if we're going to do or start anything new, we have to have an open mind. There's no way, how do you think new comes in? It's because we then see how new things could possibly work for us. And that includes having, an open mind to different perspectives, to different things, to hearing other people out. And also, I'm picking up as well, Taurus, that maybe sometimes when we are a little closed-minded, we tend to not be so dignified. Our actions sometimes come off as indignant. And I know, Taurus, security is one of the most important things to you. And when you are stable, you are giving. And you like to give and you like to help. It makes you feel good. It's one of your traits as well. But when we are too narrow-minded, Taurus, or we are too headstrong into the ideas that we would like to do, or within these new ideas that are coming, or these new projects or trajectories, we have to remember that we must be giving as well. And we always want to make sure that we're diplomatic as well. Because the Father of Cups in reverse is someone who isn't really diplomatic. And I also want to say, Taurus, I'm picking up on, there may be some emotions involved that aren't really serving you, or that's making you appear or look a certain way in the eyes of other people. And I feel like it's going to hinder the Ace of Cups from actually coming to fruition, or it's going to hinder the new projects and the new from actually being successful. For your third position, for propriety, the hidden truths that command your honesty, you guys got the Devil. Taurus, I'm not sure, but I'm kind of picking up on liking to, not really liking, that's the wrong word. Maybe not necessarily being cognizant of, how can I say this? Cognizant of, or not cognizant of maybe keeping people at arm's length, not necessarily from you or coming from you, but like to keep people at a certain emotional standpoint, making other people feel like that. I want to say that that's something that I'm picking up here. And without really realizing it, it's becoming a habit, Taurus, and it's maybe becoming somewhat of an issue. And I really strongly feel, and I'm picking up, that it's going to prevent a lot of these new activities or these new goals from succeeding, Taurus. Because if we don't change that part of us, or that habit or that trait, this new stage is not going to, it may commence, but I really don't see it culminating. Because how we treat people now, or if we are unaware or aware, is how we're going to treat people during the new. If you want to start new and do new things, great. But let's start by having somewhat of a new attitude or a new approach to it. Because what ends up happening, Taurus, is then we don't understand, meaning you guys. When I say we, anytime I say we, I kind of just mean all the Tauruses or any sign in general as a collective, since it is a general reading. What we don't realize, Taurus, is that it directly and adversely affects you. Because if you treat someone a certain way and it's somewhat, I don't want to call it repulsive, but if it's somewhat indignant, why would they want to help you any further? Why would they have a reason to want to or even consider helping? And when you start new things, Taurus, you're going to need other people's help. That's just the name of the game. With new things come new relationships, that comes with new people and the adjustment within those relationships. So for your fourth card, the dark side of your personality being highlighted, sometimes, Taurus, this is strange for me to say this because, the Ten of Pentacles is a great card. It's wonderful. It's abundance, and it's having it all, in a sense. Fulfillment, reaping from your journeys. But what I feel is being highlighted here, it could be that, Taurus. But I want to say I'm feeling something of the effect, or something to the effect of, don't work so much, Taurus. Don't try so hard to obtain as much of something as you can. It's okay to have some of the pie. You don't need to have all the pie. Having all the pie may actually adversely affect you as well. Because if you have the majority of whatever it is that is in question, people are going to want to take that much more from you. Or people are going to need or depend on you that much more, which can become a burden. Because wouldn't we rather share the wealth? Because if one person were to have all the knowledge, what good does any society hold? Or what's the point of knowledge if only one person can have it at a time? How will new things ever come to pass? How will new ideas ever come to pass? New ideas? Taurus, for your fifth card, the best method in reading the negativity is you're going to have to trust your intuition, Taurus, and you're going to have to listen to the people that you need to listen to. It's not a coincidence, Taurus, that the Ten of Pentacles is right, directly across, and actually before, the High Priestess. You're going to have to trust your intuition, Taurus, and listen to certain people, and don't take it as maybe somewhat of criticism of, oh, why can't you do this, or why can't you do that, or why don't you get this? With anything that is new, Taurus, you're going to make mistakes. That's how you learn. But you can also avoid mistakes by listening and hearing other people out, and by not having tunnel vision. I feel, Taurus, you're really going to have to discern when you need to do this. Because Tauruses are great. They're fabulous workers. They get it done. And they're good at it. And they know that they are. But what good is it of having all of that skill, but the social setting or the sociability, or not picking up on the social skills or cues as well of the group? What good does that really hold, or what merit does it hold? We must adjust to circumstances. Now, we all need to stand up for certain things or certain convictions that we have, by all means, yes. But we must know when to do it and when not to do it. Like the old saying goes, it's just as, it's always important to speak up and open your mouth, but it's just as important to know when to shut it. I'm not saying for you guys to do that, but just an example as to how it coincides to my example, what I was giving. It's one of those situations, Taurus, and you're going to have to really realize that, and you're going to have to really know when to implement it. And it's going to start by looking to your intuition and listening to yourself, and knowing when that voice speaks to say to stop or to go forward, and to not be so steadfast and to be so stubborn in moving forward. So for your sixth position, the transitions and adjustments ahead, you have the Star card. With this card here, I'm picking up, this is going to bring what's wrong with me? This is going to bring peace of mind to you, Taurus. and also hope, Taurus. I feel like you're going to find yourself and you're going to find new things and enjoyment in new things. It's going to open your mind to other alternatives, and then you never know. What if you enjoy, or from this new adventure, something comes down the line that you actually enjoy even more? Or maybe it can be the inflammation. I'm sorry. This Taurus retrograde is just killing me. It could be maybe implementing two of your passions together, which would be great, because then that starts something new as well. Just that new. But Taurus, it's not going to start, and it won't happen if we allow this to hinder us from accomplishing those goals. Because this is going to hinder this, which would make you feel like that. And you won't feel like this. And you won't have the abundance. For your 7th card, the destination that awaits this retrograde, you guys got the 2 of Cups, but in reverse. Taurus, I'm starting to kind of pick up that if these things don't change, in terms of all the suggestions and the guidance that I provided to you throughout this spread, you either may lose people in your life. Now, I'm not necessarily going to say a partner or anything of the sort, but you may lose people in your life that maybe you care about, Taurus, or that maybe lose relationships with people that assist you within your new adventures and your new ventures, basically. And you may miss your chance, Taurus, of true love. Because when we start relationships with people who are just generally miserable, yeah, we want to help them and we want to get them out of that stage, and we always want to feel like we were the one who changed them, which is how it's supposed to be in relationships. But Taurus, sometimes when we are too steadfast, we are too, how can I say it? We push too much, and we're too adamant about having it our way and doing it our way. It cuts you off from those relationships with other people, but it also makes that other person, if it is a bond, a partnership, it makes them feel alone, because they feel like their opinion doesn't matter, so why say anything? And Taurus, one of the worst feelings, worser, I hate using that word, but there's nothing worse than feeling alone. But it's a lot worse to feel alone when you're with someone else. That's really hard. We don't want to do that, Taurus. And it all stems from the hidden truth, or truths that command your honesty, Taurus. You need to be honest with the things that are going on. This is not a bad spread, Taurus. It's not. I actually really like it. I think it has a lot of constructive criticism in it, and I feel like it has a lot of guidance in it as well. But this Pluto retrograde is going to be a little crazy. So let's just stay focused, Taurus, and maybe come back to this mid-month just to maybe remind you. All right, Taurus? Hope you enjoyed your spread for the Pluto retrograde.